Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're going to continue reading. We started last week to read through this kuntres on Rosh Hashanah in Uman. Everything about Uman Rosh Hashanah, from Rebbe Nachman, from what other people said about it, the other big Breslov tzaddikim, stories about it, different things about it, and we did part 1 last week. And today we're going to do part 2. So we're going to read some more things inside the kuntres. Okay, so let me get to it. I'm going to leave a link to it. Last week we did until piece Yudalid, piece number 14. So today we're going to continue from the piece number 14. And without further ado, we will start. It says over here, on the last Rosh Hashanah of Rebbe Nachman's life in Uman, we were standing in front of him at the time that we were giving him kvitluch, and money for our pidyon, for our redemptions. And Rebbe Nachman asked about a certain person, one of the chassidim from the city of Nemirov, that didn't come on Rosh Hashanah. And Rabbi Naftali started saying answers for him, why he didn't come and everything like that. And Rebbe Nachman was not happy that he was not there. And then afterwards he spoke more about a different person that didn't come on Rosh Hashanah because of different manias that he had from different things that caused him to not be able to come. That's what a mania is, a prevention. And because of this, that he wasn't able to come, he went to Rebbe Nachman before Rosh Hashanah and told him that he wasn't going to be able to come. And Rebbe Nachman himself commanded him to return to his house, and he should not be with him on Rosh Hashanah. Right? And this person was one of the great big people, one of the biggest followers of Rebbe Nachman, right? And Rebbe Nachman told him not to come, and what's it called? And he had very big stress that he wasn't going to be there for Rosh Hashanah, and he said, "Come on, let me come," because he was talking to him about different things that he wasn't able to come, but he really wanted to come. So Rebbe Nachman, he was starting to be like stubborn in front of Rebbe Nachman, right? That I don't want to come back to my house. I just want to stay for Rosh Hashanah. And Rebbe Nachman did not let him, and he sent him back to his house. Right? And Rebbe Nachman said to him, "I cannot even imagine to myself the tsar that I have that you're not going to be here on Rosh Hashanah." Right? Even though Rebbe Nachman is going to send him back for Rosh Hashanah, Rebbe Nachman said that you can't even imagine the tsar, and I can't even imagine the tsar that I'm going to have that you're not going to be with me on Rosh Hashanah. So the person said, so this chassid said, so then let me stay. And Rebbe Nachman said no, and he went back to his house. Right, and then so now we're back to Erev Rosh Hashanah. Rebbe Nachman is speaking to the chassidim about this. This is what Rav Nosson is telling us. And Rebbe Nachman said that on this person he has a lot of mercy. He has great rachmanus. Right, because he really wants him to be on Rosh Hashanah, but he wasn't able to come, and also because he didn't have any, he wasn't, his full heart wasn't there. And Rabbi Nachman turned and said with a great voice from deep in his heart, "What can I tell you? There's nothing greater than this, to be with me on Rosh Hashanah." Like we said before, and if other tzaddikim they don't say this, so then we have another kasha on Breslov. Right? They already asked tons of questions on me in Breslov and Rebbe Nachman, but now they're going to have another question: why am I so machbet on Rosh Hashanah? Right? And from these words that we spoke to him, then we learned a few things. One thing that we learned was the great chiyuv, the great requirement to be with him on Rosh Hashanah, right? Even though we already knew this, but now that he spoke about it even more, we know that it's great to be there on Rosh Hashanah. It's a chiyuv gadol, and also we also learned from this that it was his ratzon that we should be with him in Uman even after he passes away. V'she'ein davar gadol mizeh. Right, now that's why today the rest of our chassidim still go. Right, we see how important it was in life, so even after life it's also important. And also we learned how much a person needs to break the certain manias that will, when any time a person is trying to do something holy, there's always like these spiritual things that happen to him, spiritual preventions or physical preventions that stop a person from from trying to do things. So we have to learn how to break these things, right? That even if Rebbe Nachman himself tells us not to come to him on Rosh Hashanah, you can't even look at this even for 1 second. You can't even ask him about this at all, right? Because if you ask him, he's going to say, no, don't come, whatever, it's fine. But really, the truth is that you need to be there, right? So this guy made a mistake by even asking. He should have just either not come or he should have came. Okay, next piece, Tesvav, and then he said that it says in Chaim Ran that this Inyan of being there for Rosh Hashanah is also negea to what Chazal said in the Gemara Makos on Daf Yud Amid Beis. That it says over there that the way that a person wants to go, so Shemayim like pulls him that way. Like whatever a person wants to do, if he wants to be good, so Shemayim helps him be good. If he wants to be bad, so then Ma'lichin Oisai to not good. Right? Like Perish Rashi says, V'hu medivrei Rabbeinu Zal al pasuk lech im ha'anashim. Right? V'chein, and also with the sending of the spies, right, which was last week's parasha, Shehu Chach Moshe Rabbeinu Olav Hashem Ba'atzmei L'Shalchim, that Moshe was kind of forced to send them. Afal pi, even though be'emes that it was not his ratzon at all. Ve'inyan zeh ra'inu min Rabbeinu. What's all this having to talk about? This all we saw. We all saw this from Rebbe Nachman many times. Befrat be'inyan Rosh Hashanah, even especially with this Inyan of Rosh Hashanah, right? That people had many manias to be with him on Rosh Hashanah, right? And they asked him about it. Then he said, you know what? If you have too many manias, then you shouldn't come, right? But then they would say, but we really want to be there because you said it was so great. But he said no. And if you would actually even get angry at them, the garbahem, scream at them, shaloi dabri yoser v'chein asu v'loi ba'al al Rosh Hashanah, right? V'afal pikein anachnu zechinu, and even though we were zeiche to stand, be with him all the time, and and speak to him, right? But so we understood that through hints and straight up explanations that really inside his ratzon was not the way that it was, right? Right, that he didn't want to say this to them, right? He didn't want to say to them not to be there, but since they were asking him, so that's what he would say. Because if they say, I'm not going to come, okay, so then don't come. But really, he really wanted them to be there. And there's a lot in this to speak about. And Umaat Mizan, a little bit of this we will explain in a different place. It's explained in a different place in Sikh Saran Yeshua Dalet. This is also what we are knowing to do for generations, right? That when you ask a Rav or a leader on something that has Mesiras Nefesh, so the Rav and the Manik has to answer him not to do it. Even though the person who's asking wants to be Meiser Nefesh for this, you still have to say no. You can't ask Rabbi Nachman about this at all. Don't ask anyone, just go. Okay. Now we're talking about when Rabbi Nachman. Okay, another story like in the same vein, right? When Rabbi Nachman went from Breslov to live in Uman in the summer of Taf Kuf Ayin in the year 1810, right? He went to Uman. There was a fire. He burnt his house burnt down. They all went to Uman. Yotzi imay gam Rabbi Aaron harab mi Breslov, right? Rav Aaron, who was the Rav of the town of Breslov where Rabbi Nachman was living, he also went to live with him in Uman, right? Because he was one of his biggest chassidim, right? And when the days of Rosh Hashanah came close, so Rabbi Nachman received a letter from the people who lived in the city of Breslov, and they said, "Fine, you took, Rav Aaron, fine, but let us at least have him for Rosh Hashanah, right? Because we don't have, we don't have a Rav at all, right? Because Rabbi Aaron went, right? Right, so like they're saying, like, okay, fine, you left the city, Beseder, like, fine, you had to go, that's fine. But why did you take why did you take the Rav also? Right, so they asked from Rebbe Nachman that he should send back Rabbi Aaron to be there for Rosh Hashanah. So Rabbi Nachman showed this letter to Rabbi Aaron, and Rabbi Aaron said, "So should I go back and not be with you for Rosh Hashanah?" And Rabbi Nachman says, "I can't explain to you the tsar that I'm going to have if you're not going to be there." So fine. So then again, Rabbi Aaron said, "Okay, so I'll stay." But then Rabbi Nachman said, "No, but they're right. So should I go? Should I stay?" It's the same thing, back and forth, back and forth. And he asked him many times about this. This was the way of Rabbi Nachman. Except, I guess, for Uman Rosh Hashanah, obviously. Right? Like a guy would come to Rebbe Nachman and he would ask him. Rebbe Nachman never said like dafka, you have to do this, or like whatever. Like so now Rabbi Aaron's asking, so he's not giving him like a straight answer. And so Rabbi Aaron decided for himself that they're right, and he went back to Breslov. When he was on the way back, he met Rav Nosson and Rav Naftali, because they were on the way to Rebbe Nachman for Rosh Hashanah. And when they saw him, they asked him, "What are you doing?" He told them the whole story, and he said, "Afal Pi can't even know, right? This is not the right thing. You have to be by Rebbe on Rosh Hashanah, right?" And they said to him that even if Rabbi Nachman would send us away from the building, like send them, like don't be with me on Rosh Hashanah, we would not listen, and we would still stay for Rosh Hashanah. All right. So we see it's like there's a lot of different things going on with this Rosh Hashanah thing. And this story is from Siach Sarfei Kodesh. Okay, again, another story. On the last Rosh Hashanah of Rebbe Nachman's life, he said, "Aaron einenu uberel einenu." Aaron is not with us, and also Beryl is not with us, right? And the kavanah, what he was saying is that Rabbi Aaron was not there. Right, we just said why he wasn't there, because he had to go back to Breslov to be with them for Rosh Hashanah, and also Berla, who was a ish pashut me'ir Venitza, who was a very simple man from the Ir Venitza, gam hu loiba. Right, and basically Rabbi Nachman is saying that they're both equal when they come to me for Rosh Hashanah. Like it's important, even though that Rabbi Aaron was a much greater chassid and a much greater follower of Rabbi Nachman. But even Beryl, who was just a simple yid who would come every year for Rosh Hashanah, they're equal kilo. Amru le'inin ha'mevoyer. Oh, sorry, there was like a bird that just jumped out of my window. Let me just fix that for 1 second. Close the window over there. My bad. All right, back into it. Amru le'inyan ha'mevoyer b'likutei Moran tinyana Torah ches she'al yedei shenisvasif shachin echad lebeis hatfila ayedei zeh nisraben habatim. It says in Likutei Moran in the second chelik, in the last Torah that Rebbe Nachman never gave over in his life, which was Torah ches, on that Rosh Hashanah, that when you bring up like another person to shul, when you include another person in the togetherness, so then the batim are multiplied, the Jews are multiplied. She'eskavim ba'amr zois al Rav Aaron harav mi Breslov, that he's saying that this thing was about Rav Aaron of Breslov. Sorry, right? That he went away on Erev Rosh Hashanah to go back to be in Breslov, right? And he was not with the Anash Shenishar Eitzel Rabbeinu be Rosh Hashanah, and this caused Rebbe Nachman a lot of pain. V'nei kol tamidei Rabbeinu Agdolim shayu oz b'Rosh Hashanah achron limei chayev kulam boy v'nitzvu l'Rosh Hashanah haba shel shnas tav kuf ayin beis, and all the big chassidim and students of Rebbe Nachman that were with him on the last Rosh Hashanah, they also again came the next year, the year that Rebbe Nachman, the year after Rebbe Nachman died, the first Rosh Hashanah after he died, in the year tav kuf ayin beis, because they all understood that this was the kavanah of Rabbi Nachman, that with all his warnings and everything like that, not only was it during his lifetime, it was also after his lifetime. And they understood that Rebbe Nachman was like, he wasn't trying to hide this. This was like, it was in between the lines, but he was saying it out loud, right? And even though he knew that he was going to die, right? But everyone knew that he still that we should still come to him after he's nifter. Let's see, how long did we do today so far? Let's do 5 more minutes. Hoyo Aimer Rav Avram Bar Nachman Zal. Rav Avram Bar Nachman was the son of Rav Nachman of Tulchin, the Tulchin Rav. I think I'm always like trying to still get all the names down, and he was a big student of Rav Nassan, I believe. After Rabbeinu Haya Kayidu a Sagur Mesugur V'Nister Legamre, right? Even though we know that Rabbi Nachman was like very hidden and always wanted to be like closed off, he would say sometimes that, like, why do I need all this piercing? Why do I need all this fame? Right? He would say different things like this. Ulam kol ma shehaya shayach l'doros habayim b'zeh yotze megidroi v'lo hister devarav. Right? Anything that was shayach to the coming generations after he would be gone, he would go out of like his general self, and he would not hide his words at all, and he would say Kimoi Inyan Hanasil Eretz Yisrael Kibbutz Rosh Hashanah B'Uman Oy Kehena Fikena Dvar Mishin Gulas Yisrael B'Chalos Tol V'Oim Layam. Like that, I think that he was talking about when it says here the Nasil Eretz Yisrael, that like Rebbe Nachman like told people to move to Eretz Yisrael, and also about the Kibbutz Rosh Hashanah. Like, he spoke about those two things a lot for the generations to come, that they should know clearly that this is what Rabbi Nachman's intent was. Alright, let's do another one. Amar Rabbi Yudol ve Rabbi Shmuel Isaac. Right, Rabbi Nachman said to Rabbi Yudol and Rabbi Shmuel Isaac, Kishayu Noisim Elav, when they were going to him from the city of Dashov to Medvedevka. And one time they wanted to go out from the city of Medvedevka. They wanted to move to like another city close to Medvedevka, so that they should always be close to him. So what did Rabbi Nachman say? He said no. He didn't say no. Sorry, he said like that he yearns for the ways when they used to come to him, right? Because like that was when it really meant, like, if they lived next door, fine. But like now they're like back in the day when they used to come to him, all the roads that they took, everything that they think, it was so holy. And every step that they took when they went to him, an angel was created from each step that they took to go to him. Right? He said that also this, like even the way that before, even when you just started the journey, even to get a wagon or whatever, even this is also included, right? Also from these steps in this part of the journey, also a malach is created. And on the last Rosh Hashanah in Uman, Diber Mizev Omer Bezel Loshen Achle She'eske Liris Or Behiris Haderech She'atim Noisim Alavlai. Said I wish that I could see. I wish that you could see the beautiful clear light that's on the way that you come to me. The orb Behiris Haderech, right? That's a good thing. Okay, another thing that Rebbe Nachman says, Shamati, I heard that one time we were standing by him on Erev Rosh Hashanah, Acher HaSlichos, after Slichos on Erev Rosh Hashanah, and he said, Anoshim Acherim Hayu Merutzim Shiel Lehem Rosh Hashanah K'moy Erev Rosh Hashanah Shahayu Lechem. Said other people wish that they could have a Rosh Hashanah like your Erev Rosh Hashanah. Like the Breslov chassidim, the Avodah on Erev Rosh Hashanah was so big and so holy and so much that people would want to do that. Like that's how they want their Rosh Hashanah to be, like, So just like that, that's how you see how much stuff was going on just on Erev Rosh Hashanah. It's a whole thing. We'll get into it more over here later on, probably. Okay, last piece. We'll just finish this page of this PDF over here. Chaf Beis. All the days of the summer before Rosh Hashanah, he would always, that he was always looking like, okay, we're going to be there soon, Rosh Hashanah. He was always thinking about Rosh Hashanah, like summertime was getting ready for Rosh Hashanah. And the Iker, because the Iker by him was Rosh Hashanah. V'amar shekol iskoi Rosh Hashanah, my whole thing is Rosh Hashanah. V'amar Torah nefla sham b'Uman. And he said a big Torah the last Rosh Hashanah in Uman, and this is the Torah Tiku B'Lekutei Tinyan Simin Ches, like we mentioned before. Hamaskal Afal Pisha Shetechacha Davar Gadol. And the last piece for today is Chaf Gimel Achar Kach Higia Rosh Hashanah Shel Shnas Tov Kuf Ayin Beis. And now we're getting more into like the history. So now Rosh Hashanah of the first year after Rebbe Nachman died came, and this is the first Rosh Hashanah after he died. And Uba'aitzim the flights of Hashem helped me in Hashem's great ways. Hashem helped me. Sheniskapsnu Yachad L'Uman Rosh Hashanah. Now we all gathered together on Rosh Hashanah. This is Rav Nassan talking in the Sefer Yimei or Not, which is Rav Nassan's autobiography. Ume'az v'adheina nitoiset b'chol shana v'shana kamen nefasha shebachar b'chaim. And from then until now, we add on every year more and more people coming every year who choose life, and they come for Rosh Hashanah to go to Rebbe Nachman's kever and to be with us for Rosh Hashanah. And to speak about the greatness of the kibbutz of Rosh Hashanah this is not the right place. This is not the right place over here in this sefer, which is Yimei Mornat. It will be explained in other places, which is in Sefer Chaim Moran in Sif Taf Gimel and 2 Taf Vav. So Be'ezer Hashem should help us that we should all be able to be Zeiche this year, to be in Uman Rosh Hashanah, not like last year. Everyone should be able to buy tickets, everyone should have no big minias, and Be'ezer Hashem we should all be there and see each other. And next week we will continue learning more. This is a lot of information. We're just going to keep on learning. Alright, have a good day.